Hi guys and welcome to my channel. This video is on the HSTV-L. This is a light tank. It sits at 9.7 in the USA tech tree. It's just been added on patch 1.99. Now this thing is rather special in more than one way. It's a special vehicle, but it's also a very special vehicle. Now this is the only 9.7 tank for USA in the game currently. This thing sports a 1.5 second reload and a 6 drum magazine, and each round needs to be reloaded individually. Now it's a pretty awesome machine, but considering it doesn't have that much penetration per round, whenever you face top tier MBTs you really start to struggle with it. Now just to give you an idea, this thing has around 276mm of penetration point blank, and at about 100 meters at 30-degree angle only 233mm of pen. Now to give you a kind of frustrating scenario, if you do get a track shot on a T80, it's very unlikely you'll set the ammo rack off. It's not a lot of spalling, and yeah, you can be left pretty frustrated. However, the 1.5 second reload does let you get follow-up shots pretty quickly, so if you're aiming for a breach or so, you can take the breach out. Hopefully it doesn't have a heavy machine gun that can tear right through your very light armour, and then you can pick it apart bit by bit, decide where you want to shoot at. If you come up against multiple targets, you get a nice opportunity to take them out of the side. You will get a lot of one-shot kills with it, and even if you don't, that 1.5 second later, you can take them out fairly easily. Now, this footage is recorded on the map Berlin. Here I'm going to try and dip this helicopter. Unfortunately somebody else already killed it and I didn't realise, but I'm sitting on the cap here deliberately. This is reloading my first stage ammo. Spotted this Centauro I'm. He's coming after our guy that's in the water in front of us. I don't really have a good shot on him. But yeah, I'm just going to sit here, let me fill up my drum. If he pushes down here, I'll kill him pretty easily. But I want to get that drum full back up again so we can go push a little, push a flank here as quickly as we possibly can. Now, one of the main advantages to this vehicle over any other vehicle that's in the tech tree currently, it does have negative 17 degrees gun depression. So that allows you to sit on really weird angles. You can peak defilades pretty well and you're not exposing much of your turret. However, bear in mind, this thing can be penetrated in spots to the front with 7.62 machine guns. So be very wary whenever you peak these areas. If you have shot someone's breach out or barrel out, you're still vulnerable to machine gun fire despite the armour and the inspector telling you. So you got about 25mm of armour all the way to 5mm. So be very careful what you're doing here. So push the little flank there, got those 2 nice side shots, and then you can see here now I'm getting bullied by 20mm. Fortunately he can only shoot the top of my turret and I only lost my commander. Now we're going to sit here and repair. Also, when we're talking about the tank, this thing is fairly mobile. It can get up fairly steep angles here. I tried to reverse up this hill once we fix our track, but didn't quite get up there. One of the things I was really surprised about is this thing has 45 degrees gun elevation. So things like helicopters, lone flying aircraft, if you are up on a hillside and you're trying to shoot flat straight out, you will have the elevation to do so. The elevation is quite fast as well. I have noticed a problem, however. Just be aware, the barrel sits pretty high up in the turret and it does some very funky things whenever you're third person shooting at a vehicle. Sometimes you think you're aiming at the tank and the shot is actually going about 2 or 3 feet over the top. So be very careful whenever you... This is a good example here when we're going over the hill. It looks like our crosshair is on target, but it just turns out that it's not. I'm not sure if the optic is lined up properly, or if it's just a case that the gun sitting high up on the turret is causing a wee bit of issues between, you know, Gaijin's coding, but there's something just to keep in the back of your mind. Now this vehicle does have thermals. It's got thermals in the gunner's optic, it's got thermals in the commander's optic, the first gen, so they're very low resolution. Unfortunately for me, I can't use thermals in War Thunder currently. They don't work. Whenever I switch them on, they flicker off, so unfortunately no showcasing of that. However, we do pretty well here. Regardless, we're now pushing the enemy back to respawn. We've completely surrounded them. If you just look at the minimap there, they're completely surrounded. There's nothing they can do. We're just hoping to pick off the last few stragglers and just get out of here. As you can see, the autoloader in this thing is getting put to good use. Just suppressing the enemy in here, marking targets where I can using the scouting ability, and just basically getting the job done. Now if you do get in this scenario, this is a very powerful tank, but it is very niche. As for lineups, I'm really not sure where I would put this. There are 4 Abrams tanks in the American lineup, so if you've only got 4 or 5 slots to take up, you're probably better taking the more reliable and versatile tanks. But I mean, you could take this out given the correct map. It could be better than using one of the backup Abrams. Maybe the OG M1 Abrams or the M1 IP. It could be good for that. One thing this thing will be fantastic for, and we'll probably do a video on this, is if you spawn this vehicle to get into a helicopter with ATGMs, such as the Apache, this will be perfect for doing so. If you empty all 6 rounds of your drum into an enemy target, even if you don't kill it, if you're then killed in return, you'll have enough spawn points to take a helicopter up with ATGMs, and hopefully they'll fix that exploit very shortly. I don't think that's very fair, but there we go, that's just something you can do. Now, an example of coming up against an MBT, here we have a T-80U. I'm just going for his breach to immobilize him, and luckily one of my teammates managed to pick him off. I could have shot for driver's hatch, maybe, but I didn't want to risk it. I just wanted to get basically combat ineffective and just get out of here. But this is exactly the position I'm talking about. It's kind of advantageous here for the HSTV-L, is that we can get up in a little defilade where it's pretty awkward for most tanks, and we've got that negative 17-degree gun depression that we can use, and we can keep ourselves pretty much hulled down and safely out of the way of any incoming fire. Now, next moment of this clip is going to get pretty awkward, so bear with me here. I'm kind of struggling. I kept driving up onto the rubble. I kept hitting the tank traps here as we're going in and out. But you'll see here that using the gun depression is very, very nice. Now, be careful of hull break. This vehicle does hull break very easily. If you get hit with a high caliber APVFSDS, any sort of HE, any sort of ATGM, it will trigger hull break and it will kill you instantly. The only instance I've seen where I've not been hull broke is if it actually kills a crew member. So if the round penetrates and kills a crew member, for some reason the hull break won't trigger. But you can be hull broke with machine gun fire, depending on the location of said machine gun fire on your vehicle. Now, at the start of the clip, we probably saw this. The M1 Abrams, M1A1 Abrams specifically, it can keep up with you on rough terrain and on smooth terrain. So this thing has a disgusting amount of horsepower per turn. It does have 650 horsepower. Its max speed is 83 kilometers an hour. We did get very close to that here in the snow on the road, but it's not really got that much of an advantage in mobility over the Abrams itself, which I find really strange for a light tank. I thought this thing would be way quicker, much nicer at traversing stuff, but it just doesn't really have that much to offer compared to an MBT, and it really should. It is a light tank. I think I'm just, I'm kind of frustrated thinking that this thing would be, super mobile like the Centauro or the Radkampfwagon, but it's just something different. Trading out the high penetrating round from the Centauro MGS, the 600mm pen version, or the Radkampfwagon with the DM33, I guess having the quick reload is advantageous in some scenarios, but you kind of missed that reload speed being consistent. Sure, you have a 1.5 second reload, but once you've fired all 6 rounds, you do have to wait 20 seconds minimum between every single round once that drum is empty. And is that a good trade-off against something like a Radkampfwagen? That would be down to personal taste. Now, is this vehicle worth picking up? If you already have all of the Abrams, if you have your M1A2, I would definitely try and grind this thing out just so you've got something else there for your lineup that you can take out and experiment with. However, if you are looking to basically try and use a vehicle to get to top tier, I would probably completely avoid this and just stick to the MBTs. Basically all of the Abrams. Make sure you get those first. That would be my recommendation, and don't spend any GE on this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Take it easy. Much love, and bye-bye.